right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Home after the hurricane.
It was crazy. It was like, we're here to fend for ourselves. It's just me and you. Like, this is who we have, and we got to make it through this together.
The local couple's journey back to St. Louis after Burl struck Jamaica.
Once again, we look at Tropical Storm Burl, and while it's almost a hurricane again, that's not the issue for us. It's the remnants as it moves north, how it impacts us, and how much rain this will provide for us by midweek.
But first, lawlessness on the streets of St. Louis. What local leaders are saying about solutions tonight after 3 straight nights of downtown violence.
And it's going to take all of us putting our arms around our babies to get out of it.
Downtown St. Louis remains on edge as violence involving large groups of young people continue to plague the area. Since Thursday evening, at least 20 people have been shot in St. Louis. 1 has died. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. This unrest comes as Mayor Tashara Jones and city police are still addressing the 4th of July mass shooting that hospitalized 7 people. Once again, it's intensified concerns about public safety in the heart of the city. 5 on Your Side's Andy Crowell has been following this downtown violence for the last 3 days. Annie.
Mike, this time a 15-year-old boy was shot in the arm near Enterprise Center less than 2 hours before the pop band AJR's concert last night. He was walking with a man and woman in their 40s in broad daylight, though the continued downtown violence has typically been overnight. Some in St. Louis hoping that events like today's 4th annual STL Fest can at least be part of the solution.
Around 5 p.m. Saturday, an off-duty St. Louis police officer saw someone shooting near Memorial Plaza across from Stiefel Theater. Police found a 15-year-old boy grazed by a bullet on his right elbow. The 28-year-old suspect, police say, was a convicted felon and arrested, piling on to the last 3 days of downtown violence since the 4th of July fireworks mass shooting and teens blocking traffic with firearms Saturday.
They need a chance to be children. They're growing up too fast, and we're doing it to them. They need a place where they can just be themselves.
That's one of the biggest goals of Sunday's STL Fest, attended by Mayor Tashara Jones.
Just wanted to come by and tell you that your mayor loves you, and I have been working hard with a capital W to make sure that we put resources in our community, that we reduce crime, and that we put our arms around our babies and give them things to do and make them productive citizens instead of going downtown and shooting up fireworks in the middle of downtown.
But when we pushed Mayor Jones's director of communications to ask what those actions are to stop the violence involving young people, he said she was unavailable to talk.
We couldn't grab her for a couple minutes.
Sorry.
Jones taking pictures with some of the hundreds of attendees on Washington Avenue, hoping the peaceful gathering will spark change.
Somewhere where they can be outside and they don't have to worry about the restrictions of being in a place where, like, I can't express myself. So this allows them to express themselves and do their own thing, have their music, have their culture, have art.
We all had phases when we were younger of us doing things that maybe our parents and our community might not have approved of. But the thing is, we made it to this point. We've been blessed enough to make it to this age and to this point. So now we can relate because we all see us in them.
There is a public town hall meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock to talk about this week's downtown arrests. It's at Central Public Library. Mayor Jones's team said she will likely not be in attendance, but Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore and St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy should be. Mike?
Thanks. Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, who was running for governor, took to X, formerly known as Twitter, calling the shootings tragic and unnecessary and declaring it's past time for the state to take control of the SLMPD.
Look, when St. Louis does badly, it hurts the rest of the state. When St. Louis does well, it elevates the rest of the state.
Those words from Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft underscore his call for state intervention in St. Louis's crime problem. Ashcroft, a Republican gubernatorial candidate, wants the state to once again take control of the St. Louis Police Department, and his plan includes hiring 1,000 new police officers across Missouri in his first year as governor.
It's not enough, but I don't want to say 2,000 because I don't know that I can do that for sure. We've got to have truth in sentencing. When people do the crime, they do the time.
Now, you say you'd hire 1,000 more officers, but you've also said you're going to slash state income tax. How can you do both?
We don't have a resource problem. We have a resource allocation problem.
Ashcroft's proposal would reverse a 2013 decision by Missouri voters to return control of the St. Louis Police Department to local officials after more than 150 years of state oversight. He argues that local control has failed.
They are taking resources away. Officers show up to work. They don't even know if there's a car they can use as they're driving the district.
Despite raises and bonuses, the city has had trouble recruiting new officers with more than 300 openings. But Ashcroft thinks part of the problem is not enough support for law enforcement.
They need to know they'll be supported. They need to know that the law will be on their side, that if they do their job, if they follow their law, they won't be criminally or civilly prosecuted.
In response to Ashcroft's claims, Mike Keogh, his gubernatorial campaign, says, quote, Secretary Ashcroft is campaigning on issues that Mike Keogh has been working on with men and women in law enforcement for years. That's why every major law enforcement and public safety organization has endorsed Mike Keogh for governor. We are still waiting to hear back from Bill Eigel's campaign. And we're learning more tonight about a deadly shooting this morning. Police say one man is dead and 2 others are injured after being shot in the Dutchtown neighborhood near Grace Avenue. That shooting happened around 3 a.m. Right now, we know the injured taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police have not identified a suspect or what led to the shooting. We're working to learn more, and as soon as we do, we'll update you on air and online. And new tonight, we now know the name of the man killed during a 4th of July celebration in Glasgow Village. Police say 30-year-old Gregory Mills was gunned down at a fireworks gathering. First responders took Mills to the hospital where he later died. Once again, there's no word on any possible suspects. And shortly after that deadly shooting, another North County neighborhood was hit by gun violence. 6 people were shot at a fireworks gathering in Spanish Lake, leaving 1 person dead and another 5 injured. Police now identify the victim as 42-year-old Damon Ward, 2 others in critical condition, 3 have minor injuries. If you know anything about either of these North County shootings, you can contact the anonymous tip line Crime Stoppers at 1-866-371-TIPS. Tropical storm Burl is expected to hit Texas in just a few hours. It's already caused extensive damage in the Caribbean and Mexico, killing at least 9 people in its path. Experts are saying it could reach Category 1 levels just before hitting Texas shores. And even we will take a hit. Gary Frank has more on what Burl will bring to the bi-state now in our weather impact forecast.
Yeah, good evening. And right now, this is still sitting. It feels like we've been talking about this for a week plus, and we have. It's taken a while to get here, but it's our first big storm. But it will continue to strengthen. We have the latest update from the National Hurricane Center on exactly how much miles per hour location. Pretty close right now to Texas, moving slowly. But once it gets inland and gets into more favorable wind, the jet stream, that's where it's going to start to pick up and move toward our area. In between it, multiple storms. In fact, one that probably saw at least pop up a severe thunderstorm warning at the bottom of your screen for Franklin County. That's expired, and it's not something I expect. But what I want to point out is not only this line right here, which is kind of showing some cooler air, that rain, cooled air right here, that's going to stabilize the atmosphere as well. As we look at one of the stronger storms right now, wouldn't be surprised to see this maybe a 30, 40 mile an hour wind gust, but the leading edge of this kind of racing out ahead. That typically means it's weakening, but still, it'll pack a punch for a brief moment. It has cooled us off, and as a result, we're in the 60s and 70s. And I think into the overnight hours, we're going to see things, maybe at least a chance through midnight. And then this really fizzles out for the first part of the day. I am looking at the next few days as that rain generally fades overnight. And some of us will still see rain primarily on the Missouri side. But impacts from Burl are going to be felt. And then multiple rain chances for the start of the week. Not exactly what we want, but we'll time that out and talk about Burl's position throughout the rest of the week and our next weather impact alert day.
As Burl moves in on the bi-state, one couple will feel it a second time. Allison Henderson arrived home this afternoon after feeling the wrath of Burl in Jamaica. Henderson and her boyfriend traveled to a resort in Negril for her birthday and intended to come home on Wednesday. Less than a day after the couple arrived, they heard about the hurricane and their flights were canceled. Both had to barricade in their room as the storm barreled down outside. Now Henderson warns other travelers about hurricanes. Be prepared.
I don't want to deal with Burl no more. It needs to go away, but just everybody stay safe, and if we learn, just prepare as much as you can. Like, it's not such thing as overpacking. Things you think you would never need, bug spray, battery packs, flashlights, all of those things. Just take it, because you just never know.
At the time of impact at their resort, Burl was a Category 4 storm.
A walk that's more than just steps in the park.
We're seeing families thriving together. We're not seeing families that are being torn apart by this awful disease.
How everyday heroes are turning Forest Park into a field of dreams and determination.
Temperatures once again back in the 90s today and slightly above average, but this may be the warmest day of the next several because of that tropical moisture. How cool it gets as a result, and when we can expect to see 90 degrees again.
Pedaling towards progress.
Having a city where you can get from neighborhood to neighborhood in a way outside of a car is really important for building community.
Why St. Louis cyclists are pushing to restructure city streets.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
There was an army marching in Forest Park recently, not with weapons, but with hope. Their battlefield? Neuromuscular diseases. In tonight's Making a Difference report, a chance to see everyday heroes proving that the mightiest muscle is the heart. As the morning sun cast its glow over Forest Park, a different kind of light was shining, one of hope and strength. The Muscular Dystrophy Association's Muscle Walk has arrived, rallying the community to stand tall for those fighting neuromuscular diseases.
Hi everyone, and welcome to our MDA Walk.
Among the sea of determined faces, members of Holden's Heroes, a team marching for a little boy with a big battle ahead.
I'm here for my son Holden. He's 3 and he has Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I just want there to be a cure.
For the Alessi family, hope is not a distant dream, but a reality fueled by the promise of progress.
The thing that gives me the most hope is going to be just walking around and seeing the happiness at events like this.
High five. People like 23-year-old Olivia Holler have very personal reasons for being at the walk today.
I am here because I have muscular dystrophy, and I'm here to walk for research. I think, being a part of this organization is why I'm here.
Was it your birthday yesterday?
Yes.
Did you turn 19?
19.
8. Oh, okay.
Every story here is a story of resilience, like that of the Flying Pigs, a team that soars on the wings of love and remembrance.
It's a way to keep my son's memory alive, but it's also in honor of everyone that I know that's still struggling with these muscle diseases.
It was called a walk, but it's really a dance of defiance, a chance to go be brave. The MDA Muscle Walk, a beautiful reminder that when hope takes a step and a community rallies together, the path ahead shines brighter than ever before.
I think we're living examples of how people's charity and love can change lives.
The fight continues every day, especially on Labor Day weekend at our MDA Telethon. More about that in the weeks to come. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com.
Summer has wrapped up. There, TSA expected more than 25,000 people to pass through security checkpoints. Meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with the weather impact forecast, and Burl will have an impact, right, Gary?
It certainly will, and it's, not one that some of us want after a rainy period the last few days. We dried out nicely, then we're going to add back to it. At least it was quiet for some of the weekend festivities, especially at Busch yesterday with the concert at night. That was a pretty nice night. Here's where the rain has kind of settled in. It's still dry right there, but watch how over the last several hours, high pressure that was in control, got us into the 90s, has kind of eroded away at that. Not only have we run into that, but this is really slow moving and it's weakening. Watch all the reds kind of go away from this. As I zoom in, that's what I think we're going to see for the most part here into the overnight hours. This line right here is that rain cooled air that really settled in nicely, and it's going to allow some of this to weaken as it runs into this rain cooled air. I am looking at this one storm that's about to work its way into Gerald. The key for me, though, is our lightning strikes are way down. We have only about 4 or so they're not really strong storms, and there was one severe thunderstorm warning earlier, but really only about 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts came from it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something about 20 to 25, but pretty low with this, but a brief burst of rain. And as it works its way into that rain cool air, it should still weaken. That's going to be something that we look at. Like I said, the number of lightning strikes here is about 5 over the last 15 minutes. So weaker, but as we run into that rain cool air, at least feels better. You can tell where it hasn't rained, like Belleville at 76 or 69 in O'Fallon, where it has rained or run into that rain cooled air. You'll see that. Watch over the next several hours. It kind of fizzles out, but it sits there, and I think we'll deal with clouds and maybe a few showers tonight. Overall, though, I think a lot of us avoid the rain, but we'll plan for a few showers. They're not going to have too much of an impact on us tonight. Overall, though, tomorrow, I think the showers may be around, especially late day coming up from the south. Not involved with Burl just yet, but still, tomorrow expect showers around. Once again, it's pretty dry, mid to upper 80s, better opportunity as we see clouds increase with rain. But as we look at Tropical Storm Burl, now it is the recent update, 70-mile-an-hour winds, still tropical storm, but gusts up to 85. It is almost onshore, and where this is headed is closer to us. You'll see how this track still, once again, near Memphis and right over our area. And we're kind of on the northwest edge of that. What that means is I think we'll start to see rain impact us Tuesday morning. Watch how this goes over the next several hours. And as we see that rain impact us, we're kind of on the northwest edge of this. That's where the heaviest rain from Farmington, Mount Vernon, Effingham stays. We'll see periods of light to moderate rain throughout the day. And expected rainfall could be anywhere from 1 to 2 inches in some places, but there's going to be a pretty narrow band of 2 to 4 inch rainfall. And that's what I'm talking about here for Tuesday is our next weather impact alert day for steady rain, maybe even wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles an hour. 2 to 4 inches of rain on top of not only already wet ground, but rivers swelling with localized flooding possible as well. Temperatures still in the upper 80s. It's 78 with cloud cover and rain on Tuesday. That's our next weather impact alert day. Otherwise, upper 80s, drying out back in the low to mid 90s for the weekend.
Hey there, it's Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis, and we are going on the move. Okay, we covered electric vehicle charging stations a couple of weeks ago. Now for the good stuff. It's time for the test drive.
Welcome to an electric vehicle.
I met up with Mark Minden with Ameren, Illinois. He shares the details on regenerative braking.
If you're driving around town, within 40 miles and there's a lot of stops, say you're going to work back and forth or in the city, you can actually end up at home with just as much charge as you started, because the vehicle will charge itself while you're driving.
When it comes to maintenance, a normal combustible car has about 2,000 moving parts, while an EV has about 20 moving parts. The bottom line, fewer things to break.
Also, zero emissions. You got to go get new plates and your check engine lights on, and you got to get an emissions test, and now you got to get your vehicle fixed. You don't have to do that in an electric vehicle. You don't have an emissions test. No oil changes. You never have to get another oil change.
No oil change. I do like the sound of that. And in case you're wondering, EVs accelerate faster than a standard car, and depending on the model, can have greater horsepower. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Cycling for change. A man turning a previous accident into advocacy for safety on the roads. Well, this fall, the city of St. Louis is looking to begin construction on a major artery to better protect pedestrians and cyclists. 5 on your side's Travis Cummings followed a group as they mapped out improvements.
Oh gosh, so I've had this bike for at least 10 years.
Wheeling is his world.
Started as a student, coming into SLU, and just biking around, hanging out with friends, did bike deliveries for years.
7 years ago, Theodore Smith got into a bad accident on Grand Boulevard near the university, making him an advocate for safer roads.
In the bike lane, biking with traffic, had the green light, and just kind of got just hit head on. My shoulder took the brunt of it, had a bit of a mild concussion.
He's went from stop to stop Sunday with the St. Louis Coalition to protect pedestrians and cyclists.
We're taking a tour up and down Grand, the entire length, in order to see it from a bicycle and pedestrian perspective.
The city of St. Louis has plans for major redesign on the north-south thoroughfare this fall, putting in a variety of traffic calming measures. It's looking at pavement resurfacing, lane reconfigurations and reductions, and traffic signal retimings. But this group, hitting the route for themselves, noticed other needs.
There are stretches right now that the city will not be improving. That crossing is very difficult. It's a very wide open street, and it's difficult for anybody in a bicycle or wheelchair or stroller to cross.
Definitely enjoying the curb bump out to slow down traffic, have the beautiful native flowers in there, so it's something scenic, a nice look at. Having bike lanes or maybe even more separated bike lanes.
A cycle towards a safer St. Louis.
Having a city where you can get from neighborhood to neighborhood in a way outside of a car is really important for building community and for really tying St. Louis together better.
Take it a bit easy so we can all get to where we're going.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
A Cardinal singing his song when you can watch Wayno this week. Cardinal fans better get their alarm clocks ready tonight to see a familiar face on the Today Show. Former Cardinals pitching ace Adam Wainwright will perform songs from his first country album on the Today Show. You can catch him live at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The last time fans saw Wainwright play was right here in St. Louis back in February. And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. Now here's Frank Cusumano with Sports Plus.